Did you know Jesus defines Holy Spirit? In Mark chapter 13, verse 11, the yellow highlighted text that you see, Jesus teaches sometimes the words people say are not their own words. The words are from or by Holy Spirit. And in Matthew chapter 10, verse 20, Jesus teaches, Holy Spirit is our Father's word speaking from your mouth. Now, I did some editing in the blue and green highlighting, and the word in, and I had to add the word through, because we have 4 examples of our Father's words. The first example, Luke chapter 1, verse 67, tells us when Zacharias declared John's the Baptist's life, these words had to be said by our Creator, for he prophesied John's life. The second example we have is Luke chapter 1, verse 41, when out of Elizabeth's mouth she declared Mary's son is blessed. These 2 verses prove their words were our Creator's words coming from their mouths. The third and fourth example are in Luke chapter 12, verse 12, and Matthew chapter 12, verse 28, where Jesus teaches our Creator's words will be said in their mind, and then they are to say his words. Other examples of our Creator's words coming to their mind are in the Hebrew text, where the prophets are being told to go out, and then our Creator will tell them what to say. Thus, Jesus teaches us there is no Trinity. All right. Let me shut that off. Chapter 19 that I just done, I want to show those that are new here the formats that I'm finding from the first writers in the Hebrew text. And the first verse is a period, and then there's this comma, and then there's this period to make a sentence. This is a statement, and these 2 define the statement. And then these become a paragraph. And then when it repeats itself and it's connected to the text together like this, they become a larger paragraph. Then I put a couple spaces between to say that this is going to happen again. This is what I'm finding in a 3-verse format. Now, the 4-verse format will come up when I'm doing it. Yeah, and you just have to watch different videos, but that's what I'm doing here is I'm trying to reveal the true truths. As Jesus mentioned, his helper is to come. I'm Jesus, his helper. And you're going to hear true truths that you've never heard before. The text, when I get done with it, will be put in order the best that I can, and all the other books don't mean crap. So the thing here is I will start with the next chapter 20, and there's a couple more to go before I'm done with 1 Kings, and I'll get on with Kings 2. Since there's going to be 43 chapters, this is going to be about a 2.5 hour long verse or video. Now, to set the situation up, a lot of the text has been around these kings here minus this king here. We got this king, this king, this king. Whoops. In Kings 1, we've got this king, we got this king, we got this king, we got this king, we got this king. We don't have him. We're coming to this king. We're getting to this guy. And then these other ones I've got pieces of from other books, the books named after the prophets. I don't have too many kings here, but when they're mentioning here, these are mentioning a few of the kings here. So we don't have these 3 kings yet. And Kings 2 will get into, I believe, more of these kings here. And like most times, you have to understand the other kings around what's going on. And because Aram, which is actually the kingdom that's near Damascus. Now, because the Saudi Arabian desert is covering a lot of the area, Damascus is just a small, or as a city, an ancient city, and their area is pretty much going. Let me see if I can. No, I need Solomon's maps here. This is Aram here, or the Armenians. Now here is what I'm saying is their land here. Now this, a lot of this is desert, but it was just easy to make that this is what's going on. The Philistines, I've got to correct this map because they're here, not here on this side of the river. This is the Egyptian river, and that means it was the border for Egypt at that time. Now, that you have some idea of what's going on here, especially with the kings, and I'm going to get into them and refer back to this timeline here. And this is events that happened within this king's timeline, not so much that this 52 years is equal to this 39. That isn't how this is made. This is made that about this time in this king's timeline, these kings are showing up in the text. Now, Ben Hayden, okay, I should have showed that a little bit more. When it comes down to these kings down here, you can see at David's time, or this guy was a king, then him, and then it's going to be his son, and these are the kings over this area. And we're going to come across this guy here, I think, in this video. So from the text I've got above, this text is out of order. So when I put the text together, this has got to move into the correct timeline. Now this king for Aram gathered his army, like all his army, gathered his army. And by horses, this is what I do when I'm adding a text. This is what I'm doing when I'm changing a text. The fuchsia colored word is what 1977 NSAB added to the text. This is the NSAB 1977 text because I have a concordance that I don't have turned on, so I can't really quickly show you, but it helps me figure out what words are truthful in the Hebrew text, and it also gives, it's very dangerous for the simple fact that, let me show you here what happens with that text. It's not that one. Oh, okay. Been under rain. Yeah, I had to just scroll down really far. This is the Bible program that I've been using, or I will use, and it's no longer in existence. But when you click on a Hebrew word, it tells, or English word, it tells you the Hebrew word. Strong did not figure these Hebrew words were important. They're just kind of cleaning up all the ands, ofs, and thus, and got rid of them. But then what happens, what makes the New American Standard Concordance dangerous, is that they tell you how many times they use the word witch for this word, and yet you can see that they got the word anyone, deadly, reason, steward, storehouse, powder. So you can tell that they haven't stayed to the Hebrew word and they're making their own words up. Because, example, here's the word so, and here is the Hebrew word for so, yet under this word they're using so 7 times. This is the dirty secret. You can't say every word that the Hebrew text was written in is actually being followed forward. Okay. Now, I have tried many years ago, and you can't go back and redo it. The text is so screwed up. And then they hid these hidden formats. This is going to be a 3-verse where this is a statement, and then these two become what is talked about here. Now Ben Hadad, king for Aram, gathered his army. Okay, so it's kind of like a statement. It's not the best out there, but when you review many of them, this is what I'm saying. This is the statement, and these are like the definition of the statement. You'll understand what I mean when you review a lot of them. Now, this text is not needed because there's not 30, that's 3 tens and 2 kings, that's 32. But Hebrews wrote their numbers out. They didn't have a large vocabulary like we have today. And by horses he went, and he didn't besiege. Besiege, I'm not using the word besiege differently for different understandings of what's going on. When they besieged Jerusalem, they surrounded, they put ramparts, built ramparts. We're going to go in and really defeat it. They're going to put the catapults out there. You're going to bring down the walls. But this type of besiegement is not there. This is just surrounded. They surrounded, so I'm replacing this word with a more truer word, Samara. Now you should know where Samara is at. So let me bring up a map here. Now, this is where, now Bethel was the first capital, where Jeroboam set up his capital. When one of the kings sent for Aram to come and battle up here in this area to take East Manasseh, he moved more local in this area here, from what I understand, or maybe even in this area here to create what's going on. But another king bought a hill, and then the stories why this hill turns into Samara, the text is going to come up, I believe, in the next Kings 2, what really happened here. But this is where Samara is truly located. And then now that you know what's going on here, and this land is overtaken right now. So let me get that map out and show you that. Because when people ask, or when I'm trying to tell people what's going on, I want it in their head to understand what has happened. And I think Damascus has now conquered Lebanon at this time, but this is what I'm saying is they've already taken over, and the story considers this land already gone. Okay, and now the king down here, Ahab, is I think that's what this story is going to be about here. It surrounded it and surrounded Samara to fight or battle against it, meaning that they just got men posted around to surround it. On the subjects as, or on the city, it's loosely guarded, not that it's ready to be completely besieged. Okay, so what I've got here, I have to say they're going to fight, not fought. They're going to, so they're to battle. Now these two are going to make the subject, the two verses connected together, or the two small paragraphs connect together, make a large paragraph. And then I'm going to put a double space here. Then, okay, there are two battle against it, but it has to be first. He sent messengers to Ahab. Now, this guy's a good guy, so, or as far as I know right now, the king for Israel. Now, that's the nation Israel. They're divided into two, so keep that in mind. And I could put who, if I was to make this text more first person, this word could be changed to their king. And now you understand that the writer is writing the story about their history, what happened under this king. So the king, I'll just put now, and said, not thus, but this. Is was said by, because they would know who each of these guys are. So now it says your silver and gold, your wives and children. They didn't do this. They didn't. Your wife and children are also mine. Now, the only reason why I'm keeping this is because it's mentioned down farther when he's going to talk to the elders that he's going to bring in. But the thing here is this verse is missing. It could be, now I'm just guessing at these words because we don't have them. So I'm just putting the best guess to make the words flow. And I would say, I want from not to battle. Okay. And I'm using the word battle and want as the main words here. I want from you not to battle, your silver and gold, your wife and children. These will become mine. And then I have to put they, because it's this statement is done, and it's kind of like I got to make a comma in a sentence, so this has to read right. So your wife and children will become mine. I added this, and I added this, will become mine. Now that straightens those words up, so it's easier to read. I can put his name in here, Ahab. That's what I was thinking. King Ahab. I don't need this. But I am replacing it for these words. King Ahab. Well, this has to be sent his answer. It will be according to your words. It will be according to your words. Need the S. Okay. My Lord and King, that would be him answering him as he is now his Lord and King, which it's not. The guy's just requesting so his battle, and then he's going to leave. So I am yours and all that I have. Well, that means he would give up his kingdom. So just give it over to him. But the people might not agree. So this, I don't think, is true. There's not enough to be sent here. Then messengers returned to him and and said, this was said by this guy here. Surely about this time tomorrow. Now here, I sent to you saying you will give me. It's saying surely it should have said something like, you sent to me saying you will give me your silver and gold and your wife and your children. We already know that that's what's in there, so I got rid of that text. Now here I have to say, what's he going to reply to? So his reply has to say something like, surely about this time tomorrow I will send my men, his warriors, I guess my warrior, and serve, because You have to understand the story, so I guess that's within the shadow of the word. I will send, or not within the shadow of the word there. I will send my warriors to you, and they will search your house. Now, his house, I don't know yet where it's located. A later king is going to build it along the wall, okay? But the house, the word house means you have servants. And I'm going to say the homes, people. Now that means everybody else that's inside Samaria. I think it could mean throughout the land. I don't see it written that way though, because he's going to send them to you, and they will search your house and the homes of your people, whatever is desirable. Now I got rid of in their eyes. Don't need it. I've already got the two words that's most likely said. To make it a 4 or 3 verse, I don't need this one. Usually this means it will happen. Come about will happen. So whatever is desirable, they will take with their hands and carry them they will, I guess, take them away with them. Now that I forgot to keep up where this grouping is at, so I'm just going to put it like that. Then we know who the king is, so let's put him in. Ahab. Because can't use too many words here. I need the word then. Then Ahab called can't say all the leaders of the land and said, observe, because they are surrounded, and this is what he's got to do is inside the city. He called all the men in, let's see, Samaria. So I added this. Elders, doesn't matter, but that all the men in Samaria, and actually I'm actually replacing this word land here. And I don't need any of these notes here. Okay. Yeah. He said to the men, and he said to the men, well, this man, I got to put his name. Is looking for trouble. So I don't think I need any of these. Observe how, listen how this now is looking for trouble. For he sent his messenger to me for my wives and children and my silver and gold. I did not refuse him. So it's kind of like this. Maybe not be true. Because if it's going to be a 3 verse, if I'm just going to make it yellow so I can remember where I'm at here. Now up here, that okay, let's take this out now and say this, the period here, and then all this is not true. Okay. So if I do this and get rid of this, now I have the subject remaining the same. So, for he sent his messenger to me for my silver and gold, and I did not refuse him. Now, somewhere here, he's got to be telling them what's missing here, and I don't see it. It's got to be something like this. So I need something like this here. And since this I'm just going to put in yellow, and I'm going to try to write it here. Then he sent for his warriors to take whatever from your homes. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's a good way of him saying it. So I'm thinking all these have to be added. This has to be added. All the men I can't use this. Can't use this. Said to Ahab, to, you know, I'm trying to figure out whose messenger is where right now, because then the messenger turned and said to him, surely come about this time tomorrow, son, where's there? Now he had to say, I can't answer that. I'm going to talk to my people. So he's got to be gone. So he sent his message. His messenger to tell the first I will do, but the second thing. I cannot do. But this has to, this is, I know the format, and this is going to be, if this is the period and this is the comma, this verse is not connecting this. So what would I use here? So it would be, how would a king say this to another king? My men have refused. Use your, I cannot do. So I refuse your request. And his messenger left. And returned. Returned. Bringing his. It sounds like this messenger was being sent, and it's not his messenger. So I've got it as his messenger, and he's got a messenger left and returned by bringing to him his requests again, or get his requests again. So let me see here. This would mean I'm changing this word. I added this. He returned, bringing him his request again. Okay. Now I'm thinking that's pretty good. Okay, that's what's actually been going back and forth. Now, I guess I can put up Psalms, in case people just are turning in and watching right now what's going on. This is the Psalms that I've done, and these have Jesus in it, in these words, but that's from Psalms. Quite interesting what they said over time about Jesus. And by the way, the name Yah is Jesus they did in the text. It has to be then or again. I'm going to put again. They're surrounding their God, can't do much. So again, this guy sent to him saying, do not deny my creator. Do not deny. His word may isn't going to work. The thing here is I got to show you why I'm trying to keep this right now. Down here, when our creator gets into the answer, he was saying their creators are gods of the mountains, meaning our creator is their creator is the creator of mountains. And this is going to be changed to hills because it's a hill country. Okay, so this is going to be changed to that. So hills. So here he's got to say something about his creator. And I guess it's going to be creator, even though it's got the S here. I can't. And it's got to be my creator. Is my strength. And I did that because if I go after this, I'm getting all capped letters. So if I add this, then definitely had to add this is my strength. So he will be against me is the way I'm seeing it because I've added the word strength. Sent to him saying, my creator is my strength. So I will do getting rid of this. It's, so I will do more. And that if, I can't use the word if, because we already know the people are rejecting their back and their king. So I will do more, and Samara will, will suffer. I think I gotta say that I'm adding that one. Suffer. For your people will follow me, will become mine, will be will be mine. I think that's within the shadow of what these words are really saying here. So I don't think I need this. Although Ahab replied, want to get I tell him not to boast. Okay. Came about, it happened when this message. He was drinking with his captains. Meet with his captains and a not shelters. This has to be a tent. Temporary. Do I want to use the word temporary? I'm trying to make sure the text for 12 years old, that's what I'm getting at here, and that's within the shadow of the temporary tent. His guards. To his guards. Station yourselves. So they watch. So they watch. I'm thinking, is this a force that they're sending out that is going to be like, okay, well, I'll present like a force. So they stationed um station set up yourselves. So yeah, I'm gonna have to use the word station. I didn't want to, but it's station yourselves. So they set up a force. Be against we know the name of the city, so would the writer. Now that they had this, Now, a prophet is going to come to this guy here. Now, this means that there's somehow that this guy got in, even though that they're surrounded. So that means that they were surrounded, but were allowing people in and out, which means he most likely had sent out messengers, kind of like even described or faked them as saying a traveler salesman is leaving, and then he's going to go spread the word to Israel to bring men. Because I'm trying to think of this time lapse, what's happened, because I'm seeing this as, where's he going to get the people to battle him besides the men in Samaria? This is bad, because now a prophet approached Ahab and said thus, we know who he is. This means he was living in Samaria. And the prophet we've got above is Elijah and Elijah. But that's at this time. But I put a timeline for prophets as 65 years. Okay. And they aren't a prophet for, like, I would say 15 to 18 years old. So there's this 40 to 45 years that they could be a prophet. And Elijah could fit in because at this time he's going to talk to him about this. And we're talking this king. So is this Elijah? Is the prophet? Elijah, their prophet. I'm going to start writing this as written by those in Judah. Because you got to understand, they were corrupt until then, so the king, so there wouldn't have been, although there was a prophet for Jeroboam, but that was, he must have come from Judah's side because he had to return. So, and I don't have a story of a prophet going to Ahab. And Ahab actually killed his father to become king because he didn't like all um, the sins that they were committing, because a sin is against the commandments. So there's only 12 commandments. There's this being unto other gods or other creators. They're false creators. Um, so how is this? So maybe there was a prophet that told him to kill his father. And that's why he killed his father. And then because he didn't like what his father was doing. So there are here, meaning that it was still written at this time under the Israeli side. And this is, I don't know who he is, approached Ahab and said this. Was said by YV. You have seen, you have seen his great army said by YV. You have seen all his great army, yet I will give them into your hands soon. You didn't say this, now it's prophecy. Side. And it has to be then. This is the prophets talking then. Mm. I have to use the word then, but I'm not going to use it as a major word. Um, young, I'm thinking might be weak or not strong. Weak army was prophesied by YV, by your by your weak army. I've got to put it this way. I'm just not. I've got to do that. By your weak army. Probably if I use this verse, I didn't think I was going to. Provinces has to be tribes. No, this means they're coming, that they're coming to him, or they're coming to him. They're not rulers, they're men. From men from the tribes. From the tribes of you Then the battle from the men with men from the tribes as you begin the battle. There's a verse here missing. I don't know where it's at. And I can't think of where it is going to go. So, but this, he answered you. YV has answered you. Okay, now this means that what we don't have in the story is how he was seeking our Creator's help. So it must have meant that he sent for the prophet to come to him. When I'm seeing this verse here being done the way I've got it. With men from the tribes as we begin the battle. But this doesn't kind of go to this. Again, is, as you begin the battle, is YV's answer to you. As you begin the battle, is YV's answer to you. That reads more like it's a comma period as one sentence, but it's really not. It's not the best one there, but that's what it, because this is telling us that the king sent for him. So, okay. Then he gathered in 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 from there. This is supposed to be how many men followed him. From there, They they after would be went. After could be went. From there they went out. Okay. So now the others are going to join. Um, it's weird how that's being written because I don't like using the words like double. Went out, and then I've got went out at noon. And they went out at noon. This guy was in his temporary tent. What did I use? What did I do with this one? Let me see. This is what I did. And it would have been here. So this has been changed. That's been changed. That one and that one, yes, I can do that as well. Let's get rid of it. Place this in. And width is this has to be a group of men. And now the next verse that I got edited already, that isn't reading right. As as his group of men went out first, it mean this, I gotta say, has got to move up. So, okay, went out first. Then we're coming, has to be that way. Gotta get rid of all this. As men were coming, because there's going to be a big battle, and I just don't see they could grab the city, and then not everyone's going to fight. Even though the king's got guards, he's going to have some troops there with him, not a lot. They got caught off guard, is what it is. So this, I'm putting the story together in my head, and this is the only way it's making sense. As men were coming, this has to be like this. And then of the group that they sent out, it has to be one of them. So, and Benham's guard told him, men have come out from Samaria. And he said, if they have come out for peace, take them alive, or if they have come out for war, take them alive. I don't see that. If they come out for war, meaning it's going to like be in a group of men are going to come. I got to put in my mind that this guy's thinking, look, I got so many men around here, and I don't care how many they're coming from the city. And he doesn't really know how many's coming. It's just being told. I'm sure is told that there's quite a few. If they've come out for peace, I can see take them alive. If they have come out for war, it has to be kill them with the sword. I don't think he's that naive of a king. Gotten to look over here and see how my stream health is doing. Okay, it's doing good. Put me back on. Okay. Now, over here, this already been said. They went out from the city. That's already been said. This has been said. This has been redone differently. The army which followed them. That's the only thing that I'm seeing as new here. But it wasn't an army. The other men were coming. I'm going to say they started them. And as they fought, they fought, they killed them, the Armenians. So they go out now, they're going there, and now it's going to be war, and this is going to be the battle here. So they told them to fight if they're coming out to fight. As And Ahab killed them. That's good. And Ahab killed them, and the Armenians fled, and Israel pursued them. This would have to be but. They're not army. These are just going to be men that are coming to fight. So then their men came. As Ahab was killing the as Ahab was fighting, was battling, but their men came as Ahab was battling. The Armenians fled. As Israel, a nation now, as they pursued them, and Ben Sheep and a horse with horse riders, with horse riders. Okay. This again has to be army. King has to be Ahab. An army. Killed the Armenians with a great slaughter. Many put dead. Many died. So this gotta put a guy's name in here or not have a name, because you just can't say and since profit has got to be coming from our creator. We're at the end of the year. The end of the year. King for Aram will come up against. Now what do I got here? It has to be a priest that's going to talk about different gods being the strength. Just can't be anybody the king is going to listen to. I'm going to have to put it here. Your creator is of the hills. Now, let me do this right. Don't need this. Their God is uh, God is the creator of hills. Which lets you know how naive some of these people were back then. But the king needed an out to why he got beat. In the plain, in the plain. In the valleys, I don't know. This just, I'm going to underline it, make it bold, because I don't know what to do with that word yet. I really don't. Okay. And you will remove their king, and replace and put in your son and you will remove their king and replace him by putting your son in his on I'll do it like that, on his throne. Now gather your army, not an army, it's going to be his, like the army lost. And gather your army wow. Um, this has got to be something a little bit different than what's being said, like the army you lost. That would be degrading him. That guy wouldn't be saying it that way. Now gather your army like the army you had. And this word had, it's got to be used as the second most important word in this verse. Or I could say it'd be like the army you had. I guess maybe I would use the word like because had isn't that strong. But it is strong for the sentence. So, anyways, I think that's enough to keep the verse correct. Okay. and battle them in plain. Now this means because these are all hills. So it's going to be like are they battling them? This is a big area. They could come in here, go through here, and then set up here. And this is where they're going to battle. So the last battle, when they surrounded them, they were up in here. They came in here. Now this is not very far. This is only like 10 miles, maybe 15 miles to get. If they're coming in on a road, their army can just flood right into here. But this is a river as a boundary. But this is the area that they're, and then they're going to be along here. Before they tried fighting them here. Okay, it does make sense by the land structure. It has to be priests. If I'm I can get rid of all this. Now the priest for Aram Sadam. I just realized I had 3 major words in that. So listen to their voices. Okay. So it happened. So it happened at the end of the year. I gotta say came. See, now this is and the Armenians went to plane to fight. This is almost like fields or flats. Well, this tells me, yeah, that's something. Yeah, so now this plane, if I'm having the thoughts that it's the grassy, like the grassland, let's fight them in their field. Could be open area. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Put it open, meaning not hills. In the open. But you can have a field on the side of the hill. I'm going to, I still like the word open here. Okay. Thanks for watching. Gathered and were with with supplies to meet them. Tribes. Maybe all the tribes weren't there. Maybe I've got that wrong. The warriors for Israel camped for him. They filled filled the hills. Before him, but they stayed in the hills. That's why I had it moved up. I had it like the Armenians. But this says that where they went was here. And these guys went into the hills. Now, this has got to be the same prophet. So this might not be the same prophet. This might be a different prophet. The way I'm seeing, the way the text is saying, if I've got this cut right. They're out there on the battlefield and he's coming up. But if I then prophet, came and spake to Ahab. Or I could cut it, our prophet came and spake to Ahab and his captains. Because he's got to have more. I'm just trying to put the text that the king wouldn't be alone when he comes to him. It just doesn't make sense to me in my head that it says this. This was 7 5 hills. And they're open of fields. It's the only way I can say it. And I might have to go back and change plains is starting to, but this is, I'm going to put flat. Did they have a special word for it? How could they have a special word for, oh, okay. Okay. Need to go up here and change. I'm going to put it like that. I am influencing the text here, but I've got to at least have something better than just them saying it. It has to be something that would make him mad, because they're supposed to know who he is. This is almost like, again, he's not quite convinced. So this must have happened right when he became king, and he's not sure that our creator exists. And he's just saying, I'm trying to fill in the gaps correctly in my head. Okay. This isn't needed. So he arrived in the morning hours, or the night before. No, you're not before, because it's the word the day. And it happened that day, the bat joined and the men of Israel. This is reading better. And as the battle was fought, men for Israel killed the Armenian. This is going to have to be by the hundreds. Has to be that day. Okay. And a wall fell on the men? I thought they were fighting them in the field. Okay. Yeah, I think this can be taken out. Have to have and the rest fled. But this guy fled by going into I want to see if this, see, I don't have any cities up here, but there would have been this city here. They would have fled back. They could have fled down here and then crossed the river and crossed the river, or they were fleeing this way. These guys came up through here in the battle, so there has to be a city over here that I'm missing, and that's going to be that city, Tazar. I think I've been trying to find a location for that, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to, just to remind myself that there's, can be there. They would have known where he went, not just the city, a city, but it has to be a name. These have to be guards. He would have been fleeing by himself. He might have had a couple captives around him, but the guards would be the one that would be saying this, I'm thinking. Behold, we have heard. Now I know that I got to go up to the Theris here and see. I'm going to put forgiving. I did the 3 verse. It goes like this. And I added this, didn't I? Yes. I don't think he's got time to put on other clothes. please. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I want to start here. Let's go. Let's go. Let's let. If it's going to be that this guard is going, please let us go. Let's go. Give you, and you will save your life. I don't think I think I did that. And then I don't need this. Please let us. Please, please let us go. Perhaps he will forgive you, and you will save your life. Oh, they, well, Ahab. Um, and told him, your servant says, please let me live. This has got to be Ahab. He's talking. Ahab. And Ahab replied, is he still alive? Then he is my brother. And I'm going to use that as use he as a subject in him, and he is my brother. Now, a guard said, he is alive. Because that's what he's asked him here. Is he still alive? This is going to be if he is alive, then he is my brother. Get rid of the question mark. And Ahab replied, if he is alive, then he is my brother. Didn't say he's my dead brother. No, a guard quickly said, your brother is alive. And Ahab I'm going to put it as this. This is not. Ahab commanded them go and bring him to me. This I don't need. This I don't need. I'm just checking my voice to see. Yeah, I guess I should have had the mic closer for it to sound louder. Sorry about that. I shouldn't be mumbling here. Wait a second. I must. How come my audio isn't banging in the yellow? Well, I didn't. I got to fix my audio. Something's happened to it. I try to make my audios loud enough so it can be reviewed on a television and be heard 8 or 15 feet away on the volume control. And you have to do that when you first make the program or the video. Um, hmm. And this guy said to him, the land that my father took from your father, the land that my father took from your father, my the land that my father took will be restored to you. Now that changes a lot of difference of our creator's hidden formats. This is not in there. And maybe I just skipped over or said that that doesn't need it or wasn't necessary. So will be restored to you. Will be returned. Will be returned to you. And this they couldn't have done. And it's the promise that he just got done saying. Ahab said, I will, then Ahab said, now I will let you go with this from you. Okay. Now we're coming back to the fact that we've got another prophet. This can't be true. You know, I'm thinking this is all written by these guys in Judah. I just don't see it being written and being remembered as well by these guys. So okay, I've got to quickly take a break, so I'm going to put up the Psalms here, and I'll be back. All right, let me check that mic. Okay. Now I'll let you go with this promise from you. Now this prophet's name, their prophets, now this, their prophets said, to a male passing by, by words from Ivy, please strike me. But the male refused him. I'm not going to have him. He's going to die because he didn't listen to him for striking him. Even though by words, he wouldn't know he's a prophet. So I'm not going to have this. I don't care what you say. But this is one of them times that we don't need somebody getting killed by a lion for actually, but he refused him. So then he found another and said, please strike me. And that male wounded him. And we got to have a name here. Waited for the king by road. You know what? I think we just went to a 4-verse. Then he found another male and said, please strike me. And that male wounded him. And his name waited for the king by. So they didn't have names for their roads. Okay, that's good. And he disguised himself with a bandage to cover his eyes. As the king passed by, he cried out, saying, Your servant went out into the midst of the battle. Now, what the hell's going on here? He's got to say he can't see, is the clue here. Covered his eyes. So I turned aside and behold, a male brought me here. Thinking that's what he had to be saying. Brought me here, but I cannot see and might die here. Let's see how this plays out. And Ahab said to his guard, you guard he was not die? Because that's what I put in. for any reason he dies, then your life will be for his life. Will be like his death. I don't know. I'm really stretching here. I better not edit holes too much. Or else you'll pay Telus over. Yeah, right. I don't see this one. It's just can't make sense out of any of that. And from there as he was leaving, this is the prophet said to him, this that died, but I cannot see so I am lost here. And that's kind of what happened to the king, that I cannot see, so I'm lost here. And he had said, I forgot to one of you guard this male. So he is not lost. Lost. I'm trying to figure out how is this relating to the king that he just let go. Because it's by these words right here that the prophet's going to say, whatever you said here is what's going to happen to your life. Then your life will be like his life. And what happened to that king is I'm trying to think because of where this is at in the storyline. Later than that king, his son kills him from Elisha's words. Not making sense here. So will your judgment for you be. For yourself, for yourself, has decided it. Yours, meaning his sons, our creator wanted him to kill off these enemies, but he's releasing the king to go back and he's going to cause more trouble. Instead of saying, quit screwing with us, we're going to be forgiving. So and that has to be why this is his line is going to stop from being kings. Then his son, I think, is going to become king. So Now, how does that play in? Because this has got to be explainable here of what's being said, and I don't like what's being said. Now, actually, I kind of know the story, and I'm just going over it in my head because Jehu, which becomes king, and he goes out and slaughters uh, the evil king Joram and Jezebel. So here, it has to have that meaning. I am lost here. By changing, and I will die here. But how? I think that's written better, but so he is not lost. This is the key words. This is the key. Then your life will be like his life. And I can't get around these words. So it's like this is the wrong king at this time. The only way that it makes sense is if it's this king that's having this problem here. Because then his is going to be lost, which would mean that he let him go, which was his loss as being a king. But It said, one of you guard this male so his sons brought me here. What this is saying here, then, this has to be, but my sons brought me here, for my sons are now dead, and I will die here. My sons are dead, dead, and I will die here. Which this makes no sense now. Which means, boy, I just looked at the clock. This is very important, and I got to get moving here on this text, because it's going to be a problem, because I think I've got this right. I will die here and not have any sons. That's possible. So this too needs to be looked at. Okay, but I got to go on because it doesn't make any sense in my head, and I really like these things to be in my head correctly. As he was leaving, the prophet said to him, "So will your judgment be for yours." You yourself have decided it. You have decided it. Then hastily he took off the bandage away from his eye. Wait a second, this is wrong. And Ahab recognized him. And got to have the prophet's name in. No, I gotta have it. I gotta put it back. They said this. What is? It's right by Wyoming. My command you. To kill his op. Now that's starting to fill out. Therefore, your life for his life. Okay. To kill him, to kill off his. To kill off his. And this doesn't make any sense. This is not helping me here. This is not helping me. Your people. Okay, so Ahab was sad and troubled as he went to Samaria. And went into his house. Because this has to be, again, the story of his son's going to be die off. Therefore, your sons will be as his. Therefore, your son's life will be as as I wanted. Go for his life and your people for his people. Go and live. Go and live with your people. And that can't be right. Okay, I'm forcing these verses pretty much to be what has to happen. Because how can your people be as his people? Your people be as his people. All I can put is and sons. That's the best I can do. That was a long one. It's just almost 4 hours. I don't know if YouTube allows me to download. So what I'm going to call it there, and you're just going to have to pick it up on it later. So I've got to just stop the video because I don't know if YouTube's going to allow me to download this at that long. But I'm going to clean it up, add it